All the parts for the Titan Talon have been printed. I'm fairly satisfied with all of them except for this piece right here. I'm reprinting this one. I'm not sure what happened here, but these rods are supposed to go in them, carbon fiber rods, and it goes in the bottom one here well and works. But somehow, and I'll open this part up later, somehow this top wing, just as soon as I put it through the hole, you could feel it's just floating around in there. The structure that's supposed to be inside here just doesn't seem to exist in this wing, or something happened to it, just not there. Whereas on the other side, the right wing, this one does well. The carbon fiber goes in there. You can feel that it's being supported. Oops. I haven't made sure this hole was big enough yet, but I feel it's going to do the same. So I'm satisfied with the right piece and just not satisfied with this left piece. So I've started reprinting it. Now, one of the things that I'm going to start doing now that it's all printed is some of these pieces, I'm going to start breaking them up. See how strong I think they are. That wasn't very strong. But it's holding together good. It's just the infill being so 3% that's making it weak. But now, while I've got it here, let's see if we can figure out what happened with this hole. Yep. Somehow the structure for that rod to go into, out through the wing. There's what seems to have happened to it. That's what should be the place where the rod is held. There's just a little bit of it in there. That just didn't build good. Pull that down, and you see we exposed the second one. It's fine. So this, in this portion up here, didn't print well on this piece, but this down here did. And you see that's strong as all get out. Now, I don't know why this one didn't print up here, but it didn't. But anyway, like I say, I get to play with this. Look at that. That sort of stays together. I'm really quite surprised at this PLA. It's good stuff. I like it. So, as soon as this half finishes printing again, watch me cut myself. But again, I'm just trying to figure out how strong it is. It's awful darn strong. When this finishes printing again, then I'll start sanding on it and preparing it to glue it together. But this is going to kind of be a 2 or 3 month project, maybe towards spring. I don't know. Depends on what I get into when I start working with this, how easy it is to sand, etc., etc., etc. How much I enjoyed doing this instead of putting together the last drone airplane I've got in the box over there that I should actually be doing instead of printing a 3D airplane. But I just really did want to print an airplane out on my little 3D printer and see how it worked and make it work. And like I told my wife, if it works, then I'm going to print out a full-size one and I'll have an airplane. Maybe. Now, people have been asking me what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it with this build, and I don't know yet. I think I'm going to try to build it as my first quad plane, like this right here. I don't know. I am just going to start sanding it, getting all the places where the parts come together sanded well so they can fit together well, and probably going to paint it.
But I'm going to do all that in kind of a slow pace, and while I'm doing that, I'm going to see what I have, and that's what's going to tell me what I want to do with it. So for right now, I'd like to do a quad plane with it. I'm just not sure, as you can see here on this, I'm just not sure the wings with this strength they have that I can put. I don't think I'm going to be able to put blooms on the wings. I think I'm going to have to do it in this direction, laterally through the fuselage, and then I would have to figure out how I'm going to do it on this fuselage. Probably the section or sections, I guess it would be sections, that I use on the fuselage, I would have to strengthen. Or what if I take one of the rods, carbon fiber rods for mounting the 4 motors, through that joint right there where the nose piece goes on? Oh, I know why I can't do that. I started saying it'd be nice, this joint where this nose piece goes on, the first fuselage one, take it right through where that whole square there has 12 layers of solid PLA, 6 on each side for top and bottom layers. If I took it through that section, I wouldn't have to modify it that much for strength, I guess. I don't know. But I bet the way the distance has to be for the square, I bet dollars to donuts that putting another rod through back here where we have another one of those joints isn't going to give me the geometry that I need. I don't think. I'm not sure where. Let's see, fuselage 1, fuselage 2 comes back to right here. Fuselage 3 starts and has some of the back of the wing in fuselage 3. Probably right where 3 and 4 come together would be right someplace in here. Well, I guess I would have to do my geometry based on the length from here to here. I'm going to jump back in here while I'm editing this video before I publish it and try to clarify one little thing. The geometry of the 4 quad motors, front to back, center line between the front 2 and the back 2 motors, that center line of that geometry needs to be on the CG of the airplane. It's as if you're going to take your 2 fingers and put it on your CG marks underneath before you fly an airplane to check your CG one last time. And in the field, you just hold it up in the air with 2 pointy fingers up in the air. That's the way those 4 quad motors need to be able to pick that structure up. Now I'll go back and cut back into my video. I just didn't think I was explaining that in the video, and it needed a little explanation. And that's just my current understanding of how you build a quad plane. That the quad geometry center line laterally has to match the CG of the airplane, and then I think after that you bring it up in the front 3 degrees. See, there's a lot to learn. So back to the regular video, sorry. And then that would dictate what my geometry would be in this direction. Anyway, don't know. Don't know if I would take those fuselage pieces into a CAD program and modify them a little bit and reprint them again with my modifications for strengthening and stuff, and holes for carbon fiber rods to go through so I can mount 4 quad motors. Don't know. Just know at this point I'm going to sand it and finish it And as I see how the whole thing is, size-wise, feel-wise, etc., 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 I'll decide if I would build a quadplane from it, or if I'm just going to act like it's a mini Talon and set it up with the same motors, props, flight controller, everything that I've built 3 mini Talons behind me in the past 6 months up. Don't know. Like to see what others are doing. See, this is one of the things I'm targeting. Will my model come out to be, including spars, 754 grams? How far am I going to be off that mark when my fuselage and wings and tail and everything is sanded, put together, glued together, not painted? I'm going to assume this means glue at 754, but I don't think it means anything other than that. Certainly doesn't mean a servo in the front like this picture shows. So, got me some 8.5 by 11 pieces of sandpaper so I can put them down on a nice flat surface and work with the surfaces that glue to each other on these parts, get them just as perfect as I can, and sand the rest. And like I say, somewhere along the way, my brain will tell me what I want to do with this. I just wanted to print a 3D airplane. I want to print an airplane with my 3D printer. Like I say, tease my wife. After I get this finished, I'll print a full-size one. So, I don't know that I'll show a whole lot of the sanding and stuff. You guys know how sanding works. So, the Titan Talon, all the parts basically are printed, and the next phase starts. And the next phase is basically a building of the model itself with no components, and figuring out what I'm going to do with it in the future. Thanks a lot, guys.